Hello and welcome to Creature Club. It's a weekly podcast all about the monsters of Dungeons and Dragons. Every week we take a monster and we set the microscope on it and we talk all about it, how it works, what we do with it, and how you might be able to play with it while running games or just while thinking about games. I'm Daniel, I'm your host, and I'm joined as always by my co-host Mikey.
Sup, how we doing?
Good.
Excellent.
We would be joined by our other co-host. We would be joined by our other co-host Tim, but he's vanished into a puddle of mist.
Yes, we're trying to get him back, but
It's really hard to sort of catch a puddle of mist.
yeah, I've already spent all my spell slots, so I'm just gonna wait tomorrow to do that.
And I'm just like a thief rogue, so
Yeah.
I can just tumble.
Yeah,
I'm very good at tumbling though, so I mean,
very good at that. Yeah. So, Daniel, what are we doing today? I have a whole lot of like books and notes in front of me right here, and I don't know what I'm looking at. What is all this material I have to read through?
This is your initiation into the Temple of Satan, because this week and for the foreseeable future we are talking all about devils. We've gone right from one side of the low plains to the other side, and we're just going to keep talking about bastards who live under us.
Yeah, if you can kind of look over in the distance there, you can see the demons just shaking their fists at you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, get back over here. You were talking about us. Like, nope, sorry, we're done with you. We're over here
Yeah,
now.
we walked over the kind of border. We crossed interplanar lines, and they can't chase us here. So
Yeah, they can't. I just really want to take that. This is your initiation to the Church of Satan out of context and like make a remix out of it or something. It is very good. It's just very funny when you said that. But yes, we are jumping straight into devils.
Yes.
We just want to like we're going to be doing this for a while, and we just want to start at least. We're going to try and we're going to try and do what we did with demons and break it up as much as we can. But we're the Creature Club guys. We have to cover them. So, and also there's, a lot of cool devils. There, might be some surprises like what with the demons and stuff. So let's just hop into it. This episode's gonna be kind of our first one where we're gonna talk about devils in a broad sense, and then maybe we're gonna talk about one devil at the end. But like, it's kind of like what we did with demons.
yeah, exactly.
How do we start, Daniel? How do we start with like devils of all things?
Well, let's, I guess, start with just what a devil means. So, in almost every sort of context the word is used, a devil is a personification of evil. It can be represented a lot of different ways. It can represent like destructive evil. It can represent the seduction of evil. And almost all major world religions have some version of the devil, mostly as an explanation for why evil exists, why people do bad things. So obviously the version that like myself and yourself, Mike, you'll be most familiar with, the Christian devil, obviously, who's described as a fallen angel who tempts humanity and leads them out of the Garden of Eden, and generally just causes a lot of trouble. But almost every other version, Hinduism has its own versions of sort of evil spirits, but they're mostly called demons, but they would have a similar purpose of representing evil. Judaism has its own versions of evil spirits, but they don't necessarily get sort of solidified into the devil for a while. Obviously, more specialized. I don't want to say there's some religions where like there's a really interesting idea where some religions actually refute the idea of a devil because the idea of evil coming from something else is wrong to them.
Right.
And obviously Islam has its versions of the devil. It has actually kind of two terms for it, either shaitan or iblis, where kind of shaitan means to go astray and iblis means kind of the evil character, in some ways sort of our devil.
Right. Interesting.
So yeah, so as far as anyone, and obviously like there's there's more like abstract ideas like evil spirits representing devils, or like there's even arguments that like something like Krampus, the bad spirit from German Christmas, is a kind of devil and stuff like that. Like,
yeah,
so it's just a devil is a way that we try to personify evil to understand it.
Yeah, and classically in like media and in pop culture, I guess a devil, like the devil, is usually like a, or like it's been in the like stories and just in religion as well, but it's kind of been popularized in pop culture media that a devil's kind of like a he wants to strike a deal with you, but kind of like a monkey's paw kind of situation where the deal is always going to end up being bad for you.
Yeah,
you know,
that's from sort of Faust, the German story.
Yes.
Which you get the term a Faustian bargain, which is where you make a deal with the devil and it doesn't work out for you because the devil doesn't have any interest in deals working out for you.
That was it. We talked about like Faust before on this show, and I completely forgot about it when I was explaining that. But what episode were we talking about it? Faust?
Jeez, I've honestly no clue, man. If you can remember what episode we're talking about on, please comment below so we can.
Yeah, please.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was a demon episode where we were talking about one of the demons.
I think so.
And we just referenced the idea of making a deal with a lower power, but who can say?
Yeah, or you can just sell your soul to them, and you become the best guitarist in New Orleans. I think.
I
think it was New Orleans.
It's not a very big, like, it's kind of a small. You could probably wish bigger, like.
Yeah, you should have said the world.
Just New Orleans, really?
Yeah.
Like not even awesome. The U.S., like just.
Yeah, just not. Yep, nope. New Orleans, that's fine.
I know exactly what I want.
There's a lot of good guitarists there.
That's fair.
So, and there's a lot more on like the devil, but that's kind of broadly obviously what the devil's about. And you guys can kind of probably get where, it's a personification of evil. That's really it. But devils are pretty different to demons in Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, they are.
They are quite different entities. They're kind of, while the demon's more of a chaotic force, and they're a bit more of the destructive evil, I'd say. The devils are kind of the, I guess the really easy way of saying it is that demons are chaotic evil, while devils are lawful evil.
Yeah, it's like demons represent destruction and anarchy, and devils represent sort of avarice and tyranny.
Yes.
Like power and abuse, but in a controlled system.
Yes. And let's jump into devils in the game. So they've been around for a while.
Yeah, they have.
Since Advanced Dungeons & Dragons First Edition.
First Monster Manual, yeah.
Yeah.
We got a lot of the classic names in the first Monster Manual. We got Asmodeus, whose picture in the Monster Manual looks sort of like someone's uncle who got like too into Halloween.
I just opened it when you said that.
And Disperter also looks like that. Like they're both sort of just like your family have like gotten really into Halloween one year.
Yeah. And
which is nice,
Yeah. That's a good costume, Uncle. That's a
Yeah. I mean, like you put the work in, like,
Yeah.
You were kind of surprised you weren't sure about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we got a lot of the classic demons. We got Asmodeus, we got Beelzebub, we got the Barbed and Bone Devils, Disbatter, we got the Arañes, which is the sort of winged armored one.
Pit Fiend, Ice Devil.
Ice Devil, Horn Devil, and the Lemures, the sort of endless hordes of goop that is sort of the lowest form of devil.
The Lemur?
Oh, and the Pit Fiend, of course. Sorry, the Pit Fiend is here as well.
Lemurs are devils?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
They're the lowest form of devil.
Yeah, and first Dungeons & Dragons First Edition showed up in Second Edition, and then Third Edition.
The main thing about the sort of devils in Dungeons & Dragons, they sort of emerged in the Monster Manual. They were a sort of a foil, or not a foil, they were like an opposite force to the demons, which were also detailed in the Monster Manual.
Yeah.
The main sort of thing that devils are famous for in Dungeons & Dragons is for causing sort of a scandal in the US.
Yes, that is true.
Because of some televangelists in the US explaining how a first edition book called Deities and Demigods, which was sort of a book that explained planar relationships in a D&D context, was described as being sort of a gateway into witchcraft. And obviously you had MAD, which is Mothers Against Dungeons and Dragons and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so this was so the company TSR, who owned D&D at the time, just sort of basically dropped the words devil and demon in second edition and went to Batezu and Tanari, which are both, I think, made up words.
Yeah. I remember Tim explaining this, or yourself, in the first Demons episode, that a lot of the names of the demons, and I'd say the devils as well, were like, straight out of, like
actual
and stuff,
like
actual devils and stuff
like that. Yeah. Like I think it's is Asmodeus from... No, sorry. Mephistopheles is from Faust. So
and
yeah, so like
Baphomet as well, I think.
Yeah, is like yeah. So like loads of them are like they're literally just taken from actual work from our world, either holy books or just like things like the Faustian books.
Yes,
the Faustian like legends and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just because I think the idea was just take inspiration from what was already there, like they've always done.
Yeah. Back then they were like taking most of the monsters from stuff like that. So
yeah, and like as well as that, back then it was like a couple of nerds in California just making a game.
Yeah, exactly.
And so it sort of kind of exploded.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they've been in every edition of the game since. They sort of moved away from the Betezu and Tonari thing around 3rd edition, but they kept them as separate terms. So like creatures are still called demons and devils, but some are called like Betezu demons or Betezu devils and stuff like that. So like it's kind of another way of dividing them necessarily. It's sort of how they came to use it.
Yeah.
But now in the enlightened year of 2019, where everything's great and we're doing a really good job with climate change, obviously you can just call them whatever you like because the world's on fire and we're not going to be here much longer, so it doesn't really matter, to be honest.
Yeah, that's true. So I was just reading through the that little bit there where it's talking about the Fiendish Codex 2 for 3.5 edition, Tyrants of the Nine Hells, and it's talking about new devils and kind of things for that. And one of them, there's a bunch of cool sounding ones there, like the Assassin Devil, the Ape Parabos Swarm, the Harvester Devil, but there's one that caught my eye there called the Hellfire Engine.
Oh, nice.
Turns out Hellfire Engines, they're kind of a couple of them, were enormous living machines used by devils designed to mow down large enemies of creature at the time. So it's just like a big like hell
tank
train, hell train, and that is pretty heavy metal, to be honest with you. Like imagine one of those going through your your house, and you're like, oh come on, man, I just last payment on my house, and you mowed it down, you damn Hellfire Engine.
I just paid for this new wall, and you've literally just hit that new wall, and you haven't even damaged anything else.
Yeah, how dare.
My Ming vases are unharmed, despite the irony.
But that is cool. That is in Fiendish Codex 2. That's when they first came out for 3.5 edition. And then in 4th edition, the same old devils. We got the Bearded Devil, the Bone Devil. Is that when they first came in?
Who?
The Bone Devil?
The Bone Devil is Monster Manual in AD&D. He's as old as devils are.
Old as time. Yeah.
Tale as old as time.
Beauty and the Beast. Yeah, so 4th edition is kind of has the classic devils in there too, as well as the 5th edition where we're at right now, where it's kind of a best of devils.
Yes.
And best of monsters, I guess.
I will also add, just because we mentioned them, you can also find the Hellfire Angel. That's another great monster.
Yeah.
You can find the Hellfire Engine on page 165 of Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes.
Okay, excellent.
I was just looking them up there because I was almost positive I'd read it before.
Yes.
So yeah, if you want it back, if you want Tank 2 Electric Boogaloo,
we will get to Mordenkainen's, I guess, at some point in...
Yeah, we'll get to Mordenkainen's when I'm like fucking 30, dude. Like,
I'm not too sure if the climate change will destroy the planet before then, but well, I guess we can hope, really, because we can just cross our fingers because that's what everyone else is doing in the world. So
yeah, I mean, you'll be all right because you're like, I'm on the coast. I'll be like living in a boat by the time we get to Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes.
Yeah, but we'll probably just shoot each other before then, I'd say.
Yeah, probably.
Sorry, we're getting awfully, cynical about the world here. Sorry about that.
Nah, that's fine. Shall we jump into the actual book of this year?
Let us do that. Here's the 5th edition book. Devils personify tyranny with a totalitarian society dedicated to the domination of mortal life. The shadow of the 9 hells of Bator extends far across the multiverse, and Asmodeus, the Dark Lord of Nessus, strives to subjugate the cosmos to satisfy his thirst for power. To do so, he must continually expand his infernal armies, sending his servants to the mortal realm to corrupt the souls from which new devils are spawned. So, first paragraph, you have a reason why devils are in the mortal plane.
Lords of tyranny, devils live to conquer, enslave, and oppress. They take perverse delight in exercising authority over the weak, and any creature that defies the authority of a devil faces swift and cruel punishment. Every interaction is an opportunity for a devil to display its power, and all devils have a keen understanding of how to use and abuse their power. Devils understand the failings that plague intelligent mortals, and they use that knowledge to lead mortals into temptation and darkness, turning creatures into slaves to their own corruption. Devils on the material plane use their influence to manipulate humanoid rulers, whispering evil thoughts, fomenting paranoia, and eventually driving them to tyrannical actions.
Oof, scary.
So we kind of get this sort of shadow behind the throne there.
Yeah.
The idea that they're, which is a pretty classic bit of D&D writing, that the king is being possessed by a devil or something like that, or is a devil or whatever.
Yeah, that's cool. Another, reason for them to be in your world as well. Mm-hmm. Obedience and ambition. In accordance with their lawful alignment, devils obey even when they envy or dislike their superiors, knowing that their obedience will be rewarded.
I mean, so do we.
That's true, yeah. Sorry. The hierarchy of 9 hells depends on this unswerving loyalty, without which that fiendish plane will become as anarchic as the abyss. So, it's not like the abyss where it's just kind of like Wild West, free for all, everyone eat each other if you want power.
Yeah, Wild Wild Smith, yeah.
Big Willie.
Is it always the Millennium in the abyss?
It's still the Millennium. If it's still the Millennium here, it's still the Millennium in the abyss. It is,
actually, yeah. And we don't have enough time for Millennium to end. We'll all be underwater by that stage.
I was just... I just said it because I think I was watching Graham Norton with Will Smith on it, and he was this is such a tangent, but he was like, where's the weirdest place you've been recognized? Like, yeah, he was in somewhere like in Africa, in like kind of a village, just kind of checking it out and doing stuff, and he was walking by and someone was just like washing their clothes in the river, and I just look at Will Smith and go like, Big Willie! I'm like, what? This is very funny. Okay, I still have more of this paragraph. At the same time, it is in the nature of devils to scheme, creating in some desire to rule that eclipses their contentment to be ruled. This singular ambition is strongest among the archdevils, whom Asmodeus appoints to rule the 9 layers of the 9 hells. These high-ranking fiends are the only devils to ever sample true power, which they crave like the sweetest ambrosia.
Yeah, I like rice pudding too, so I get that.
Yeah.
I always get a cold. Sometimes, I'd be like, I'll just eat it out of the can, man. You don't even need to put it in a bowl.
Yeah.
That's the best way to eat it.
Yeah. Who are?
Dark dealers and soul mongers. Devils are confined to the lower planes, but they can travel beyond those planes by ways of portals or powerful summoning magic. They love to strike bargains with mortals seeking to gain some benefit or prize, but a mortal making such a bargain must be wary. Devils are crafty negotiators and positively ruthless at enforcing the terms of an agreement. Moreover, a contract with even the lowliest devil is enforced by Asmodeus' will. Jeez, that must be fucking exhausting work.
Yeah.
Any mortal that breaks such a contract instantly forfeits its soul, which is spirited away to the 9 hells. Shit, that's a little unfair. To own a creature's soul is to have absolute control over that creature, and most devils accept no other currency in exchange for the fiendish power and boons they can provide. A soul is usually forfeited when a mortal dies naturally, for devils are immortal and can wait years for a contract to play out. If a contract allows a devil to claim a mortal soul before death, it can instantly return to the 9 hells with the soul in its possession. Only divine intervention can release a soul after a devil has claimed it. Okay? It's interesting, the idea that, if you break the rules of a contract, you instantly die. Yeah, it's a bit weird. I would personally go with sort of a more like a Mark of the Sacrifice style rule, where you get a brand on you, and then interplanar bounty hunters come after you to sell you to devils.
Yeah, man, like Berserk.
Literally like Berserk, yeah.
Yeah, literally. I guess it's kind of, I don't know if it's probably to stop all players I gotta make a deal with the devil and get some power-ups, and I don't care, because if I'm not gonna die, and the person, but my character, if he dies, go to hell, whatever, that's fine.
I wonder, does that rule about the notion of if you break a contract, I wonder if that includes, so obviously the way it's written, it's any mortal creature that breaks such a contract instantly forfeits its soul. I wonder, is that notion mentioned in the Warlock Fiend Patron as a potential consequence?
Yeah, that's, let's have a look at the book. Doesn't say anything about selling your soul.
Huh.
Yeah. That's kind of strange, because it seems like that would be the perfect, not the perfect, but it just makes sense thematically for if you strike a deal because you're literally signing a contract to get your powers with a fiend, with a devil, then it kind of, go to hell when you die, or the hells, or the 9 hells, one of them. It just kind of makes sense. But it doesn't say anything about that in the book, I see there. But I just saw the paragraph, though.
Yeah.
It just kind of talks about what a fiend is, really. And it would be weird, though, if you just kind of became a warlock and you got your powers, and then you're instantly dead. See ya. Make a new character.
I'm gone.
See ya, buddy. I'm gone.
Sure, look, I'm gone.
So basically, the devils have, like, as we mentioned here before in the paragraph, they have like a hierarchy, and if you're, below high level devil, then you got to obey them, even if you don't like it. That's just kind of how it works. That they go off obedience and loyalty and all that stuff. So at the top, big top, we got archdevils. These are the rulers of the 9 hells. They each archdevil rules a place in the 9 hells. So do we have the 9 hells here?
We do, yeah.
Oh, yeah, we do. We do. Right, next page. But pretty much, number 9, Asmodeus, is the big head honcho, hangs out in the 9th layer. So that's the archdevils.
Anyway.
Under that, we got greater devils. The greater devils include the pit fiends and the rest.
Yeah, pit fiends, Ernies, which are the sort of, as I mentioned, the ladies in armor with the horns and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The horn devils and the ice devils. Then there's the lesser devils, which are basically everything else: imps, chain devils, spine devils, bearded devils, barbed devils, and bone devils. And then the lowest rung is the lemure, which gets its own level just because it's like it's just the leftover pieces of a soul without a proper form, basically.
Yes.
The lemures, their main thing is that they're the only devil that if they are killed on the 9 hells, they regenerate. Whereas every other devil, if it is slain in the 9 hells, it's gone.
I guess that can kind of make sense, because I guess there's so many like damned souls in the 9 hells, and maybe it's when you kill one, maybe some other soul takes form, I guess.
Yeah, or it's just like they don't have enough to lose.
Yes.
So like you can't destroy them. And then it talks about how you get promoted, hard work, a good work ethic, record your achievements. So for the next yearly review, you can present them. Those are the main things, really. Yeah. And just be personable, get on with your team, stuff like that.
Yeah. And you become a high level guy.
You get a beard and a spear.
Yeah.
Just like real life.
Yeah.
And so then it mentions the 9 hells, which is the plane that the devils live on. It's 9 different layers, each ruled by an archdevil. It's kind of it, really. They each have their own thing, which you can read up more on in the Dungeon Master's Guide. In Mikey and I's shared setting, we don't have the 9 hells, so I don't care about them.
Yeah, same here. But we do have Asmodeus, though.
We have Judgment, which is one plane. Yeah, we Asmodeus rules Judgment, and Judgment is the only hell, because I just think it sounds cooler, to be honest.
Yeah, that's true. Judgment.
Just like the plane of Judgment. Asmodeus is the Prince of Judgment.
Yes, and that's cool. Yeah, I never really been into too much of this kind of stuff.
I think we're on the same page of like, you want to put it there so that it's there, but you don't need 9 hells unless you're going to use all of them.
Exactly, yeah. Like,
it's like what your mum tells you.
Yeah.
You better use all those hells now that you've bought them.
No.
No.
If you're going to do 9 hells, make sure you have like a 9 hells campaign where you go through each level of hell and defeat each demon.
Like the Divine Comedy, basically.
Exactly, yeah. That's kind of why you want to do it. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, it's all there if you want to read it up, but we will not go into too much detail about it.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much broadly what devils are in the book here. So, we are on a certain time. That's good. We're about halfway through our recording. Let's jump into just one devil for this episode, I'd say. The first one, just to get us to dip our feet into the pool before we jump in. The first one we got here is the Barbed Devil.
Or the Hamatula.
Ooh. That's right. They all have kind of names, devil names.
Yeah, they do, which is fun.
The Barbed Devil, it looks like just kind of a typical little devil-looking guy, but he's kind of barbed with these spikes on him. Like as his name suggests, he's a Barbed Devil.
Yeah.
Barbed Devil. Creatures of unbridled greed and desire, Barbed Devils act as guards to the more powerful denizens of the 9 hells and their vaults. Resembling a tall humanoid covered in sharp barbs, spines, and hooks, a Barbed Devil has gleaming eyes that are ever watchful for objects and creatures it might claim for itself. These fiends welcome any chance to fight when victory promises reward. Barbed Devils are known for an alertness that makes them difficult to surprise, and they attend to their duties without boredom or distraction. They use their sharp claws as weapons or hurl balls of flame at foes that try to flee them. So these guys are kind of alert, and they seem to be kind of generally pretty loyal as well. You know, a good worker is always alert, always working, and they want to help out the devil cause, I guess. Anything to talk about them before we hop into the stat block?
They are one of the OG devils. They are from the first monster manual.
Yeah.
I will tell you now if there's anything different here.
What?
It says here in the first monster manual, Barbed Devils populate the third and fourth planes of hell. They are excellent guards and alert at all times. Brackets, never surprised. Unauthorized creatures are immediately cast into one of the many cells to be tormented. While they carry no weapons, they have sufficient weaponry with their horny, barbed hands and hard tails. They're able to generate fear, so that's a spell, obviously, upon striking an opponent. Barbed Devils can perform any one of the following, one at a time per turn or melee round, as applicable, and it's a bunch of spells that let them throw fire at people. And they can also try to summon a friend, which is nice.
Excellent. Like, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
I'd like to get to summon a friend.
I want to summon a friend. You can please stop saying that, John. They can do 50-50, and they can ask the audience. I have no devil ways of saying them. They are the first devil, and they are one of the OG devils.
Yeah.
And I don't see too much of causing fear in this book.
Not anymore, no. They've given up the ability to cause fear.
Yeah. They're all pretty scary, though, so I'd say they would all kind of cause fear of some sort.
Yeah, they're all scary for like a normal person, absolutely.
Yeah, but for an adventurer man, for a fighting man with a sword, nah. Wouldn't be scary. Not
even scary. Don't even scare.
Don't even talk to me about scaring me.
Don't even talk.
Anyway, meat and potatoes.
Yes.
Let's eat them right now. They've been in front of me this entire time.
I know, yeah. You've been playing with your bread for hours.
Yeah, I just All right, cue the music. Would you like to hop into that, Daniel?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so Barbed Devil, medium fiend, brackets devil, lawful evil. It has 15 armor, it has 15 AC, which is all natural armor. It's all natural, baby. It has 13 D8 plus 52, or 110 hit points, and it has a 30-foot speed, so it's about as fast as most adventurers. It's got a pretty good stat line. Strength 16, Dex 17, Con 18, Int 12, Wisdom 14, and Charisma 14. So nothing below a 12, and all the most useful stats are good, basically.
Yeah.
Like its lowest stat is intelligence, which is fine. That's true for most D&D characters anyway.
Yeah.
It has proficiency in 4 saving throws, Strength, Con, Wisdom, and Charisma. Which is pretty good. Strength, Con, and Strength for, I guess, getting pushed over. Con and Wiz are the two big ones, obviously. A lot of spells rely on Con or Wiz saving throws. And Charisma is interesting, but it kind of makes sense from the point of view of Charisma spells are things like Banishment, sending, sort of forcibly teleporting creatures and things like that.
Yeah.
So because it's supposed to stand guard, it's a little more resilient against those.
Yeah.
It's trained in 3 skills, Deception, Insight, and Perception. It has a +5 in both Deception and Insight, and a +8 in Perception, which I think means it has Expertise.
Yes, so that kind of makes sense to what we heard in the in the little blurb beforehand.
Exactly. It's resistant to cold, bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical weapons that aren't silvered. And it's immune to fire and poison, and it's obviously immune to the poisoned condition as well. So I'm almost positive those are our generic devil resistances and immunities, like we had with cold, fire, lightning.
Yeah,
with the demons before.
Yep, just with a quick skim through the book, it looks like that's generally pretty much the same for every single demon?
Yeah.
Or devil? Uh-oh. No.
It's begun.
The first one of the series.
Indeed. So it has dark vision out to 120 feet, which is quite good. And it has a passive perception of 18.
Okay.
Languages, it speaks infernal, and it has telepathy up to a range of 120 feet, which is the same as its dark vision. Very handy. And it is a challenge rating 5 monster, which means it is worth 1,800 experience points.
Excellent. You can use those.
Yep.
I shall do the next one. Barbed Hide. At the start of each of its turns, the Barbed Devil deals 5, or 1d10, piercing damage to any creature grappling it. So it hurts you. Don't grab
the spiky thing. Like,
does that mean that if he? But that's if any creature grappling it. But can he grapple you? I know it doesn't actually say that, so I guess it's not true.
Yeah,
if he grapples you.
But
yeah,
because I guess technically, like, if he grapples someone else, that can just be like his hand on them.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Devil's Sight. Magical darkness doesn't impede the devil's dark vision. That seems like a generally pretty much, no, not every single demon, but most demons seem to have that. Demons, damn it, no! Ah! Oh my. We've done demons for so long. Most devils seem to have that. And magic resistance, the devil has advantage on saving throws against spells and other magical effects. So, we've seen that one before.
Yeah, we actually did see that with all the previous demons in the last section.
Yes. Actions. Multi-attack. The devil makes 3 melee attacks, 1 with its tail, 2 with its claws. Alternatively, it can use Hurl Flame twice. Interesting. Claw. Melee weapon attack. +6 to hit. Reach 5 feet, 1 target. Hit 6 or 1d6 plus 3 piercing damage. That's just his claw attack. Hits you with its claws. Tail. Melee weapon attack. +6 to hit, reach 5 feet, 1 target, hit 10 or 2d6 plus 3 piercing damage. Its tail attack once again. And Hurl Flame, ranged spell attack, +5 to hit, range 150 feet, 1 target, hit 10, 3d6 fire damage. If the target is a flammable object that isn't being worn or carried, it also catches fire. So, makes sense. He throws some fire at you.
Yeah.
And that's the stat block.
Any thoughts on the stat block before we jump in to the dessert zone?
Let's have a look here. It just seems like a...
Dessert zone sounds like a Sonic area.
Dessert zone. It
Hyper dessert zone.
It honestly, it just feels like a pretty competent stat block for a monster. I don't really see too much faults in it, I guess. It's got its resistances, it's got its like Barbed Hide, but also has some like pretty generic attacks. He throws a spell at you, but also hits you with some claw attacks. Yeah. I don't really see too much of a fault in him. It seems like he does his job. Doesn't have too many weird abilities other than the Barbed Hide, but that's only if that makes sense with him. But and also that only makes sense if you're grappling him.
Yeah, which is weird.
Yeah, but other than that, just seems like a Devil Boy. Just seems like a pretty competent stat block to use against your players. What do you think, Daniel?
I think I'd broadly agree with what you say, Mikey. It's sort of a very it seems like a standard devil, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
None of its attacks appear hugely interesting, and it seems like it's just kind of, it's capable. Like if you're close to it, it'll use its multi-attack to hit you with its claws and tails. If you're far away, it'll throw fire at you.
Yeah.
There's a few small things I noticed. Firstly, that its Hurl Flame has a slightly longer range than its Dark Vision. I thought that was interesting.
Right, okay.
So that it can kind of, I suppose, which is interesting because that suggests that it can kind of pot shot things. That it could throw, even if it was in pitch darkness and couldn't see.
Yeah. That
it would be able to just throw this sort of where it thinks the enemy is, which could be interesting.
Yeah. But with Dark Vision, does that mean you can see normally 120 feet, but after that it's kind of dim? Is that right? It's like dim light?
Dark Vision is just that within the range of Dark Vision, you up the light level by 1. So if you're in darkness, it goes to dim, and if you're in dim, it goes to normal. And so outside of that, a Barbed Devil just has normal vision. Okay. Just like doesn't have any supernatural ability, as far as I understand.
Yeah.
And then it has the special feature where its magical darkness doesn't impede its dark vision.
Yeah.
Which a lot of devils have. But yeah, so I was thinking like its hurl flame's interesting, and then its barbed hide is interesting because it's a strictly defensive power, and it's weird because it's like we don't really have a reason why the players would use it.
Right. Yeah.
But that isn't necessarily a bad thing, right? Like there's nothing wrong with just saying that it has a barbed hide. If you grab it, you take damage. But it is interesting to think like there's nothing in its stat block that makes me think you definitely want to grapple it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, exactly. I get you. And I feel like he should also have like a, if you're, where he just jumps into you or like rolls into you, like the Dark Souls armor, and it does damage on you.
Yeah.
Which we'll probably cover something like that when we monster hunter this monster. But he should be able to just like run into you and it hurts you.
Yeah.
I guess that's kind of a good little assumption to make. But yeah, it is weird that says if you're grappling it, that happens. But also, I guess they had to put that there.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Just because it makes sense.
I can imagine if it's not there, then your player is going like, wait, can I grab it? And it says, oh, it doesn't say anything that I can't.
Yeah.
So I guess I can grab it and nothing happens, So I guess it makes sense that it's there, but it's just weird at first to look at it.
I agree.
All right, cool. Let's just jump into the next part and do a bit of discussion.
Great. Is that Megalomania?
No, that's not. Megalomania is...
This is a bad time, you're right.
Okay, cool. Welcome.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm glad you could make it.
Thank you.
So, the Barbed Devil. We start off, as always, in the blank, untextured canvas of the grid map.
Yes. Just throw Barbed Devil and throw down 4 level 5 peeps.
Yep.
Regular party. Fighter, rogue, wizard, and another one. Ranger?
Cleric, normally, I think.
Cleric. Yes, cleric. That's what we did. Great. So, how do you think the fight will go down, Dan? How do you think it will go?
Well, it depends on a couple of things. It depends on the ranges of the party, because obviously I think the Barbed Devil will use its hurl flame at range.
Yeah.
But I think overall its melee multi-attack is a little better, in between it getting an extra attack and its weakest attacks, its claws, are like on average deal about half as much damage as its strongest attack, its hurl flame, just in terms of dice being rolled.
Yeah.
So I think the Barbed Devil will try to close the distance and get into the party's bits. And I think at that stage it's going to just be sort of a HP race with everyone slapping everyone else.
Yes.
And the devil is immune to a bunch of damage types, and it's immune to poison and fire, and it has a bunch of saving throw proficiencies, so it's less likely to be affected by as many spells, and it has magic resistance, so it also has advantage on those saving throws.
Yeah.
As well as having proficiency. So yeah, I think the party will. I think it'll be. In some ways, I think it'll be a mixed battle. I think the party will. I mean, I think they'll kill it. Like a 5th level party can deal 110 hit points of damage in 4 rounds, probably.
Yeah.
Would be kind of my estimate, and obviously it would reduce if it was a different kind of party or a party that was more all in or whatever. But that would be sort of my conservative estimate.
Yeah.
With stuff like the cleric maybe taking a turn to heal someone else rather than just hit the devil again or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think given the straightforward nature of the stat block, we're not going to see a very surprising battle. I think it's going to be like a just sort of fight this man, heroes. Fight this horny man.
Oh, it's the devil. Okay, sorry. I thought you meant something else.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, I guess even if he gets close and personal to like maybe we'll just say like the rogue and the fighter up close and personal to them, because maybe the cleric is back doing like some spells and like some sacred flames and doing some healing, and the wizard's gone back to throw some spells at it. He 1d6 plus 3 and 2d6 plus 3. Let's see. Wait, it'll be like 2d6 plus 6 would be the 2 claws, and then a tail 2d6. So that's a bit of damage, but I'd say
that's 46 plus 9.
Yeah,
which is not bad. But the big thing, in my opinion, is that it's against a level 5 party. It has a +6 to hit.
Yes,
and I guarantee you that +6 to hit is going to be the lowest to hit bonus that entire encounter is going to use. All the party members will have, I would imagine, at least a +7 to hit.
Yes,
which means that they're going to hit the Barbed Devil on an 8 or lower. So they're going to hit most of the time. And comparatively, the Barbed Devil, assuming that the party have, let's say, the fighters in, let's just say, base equipment, chainmail and a shield, that's 18 AC. Assuming the rogue has a good dex mod and is wearing, like, I don't know, studded leather, they've got 16.
Yeah, level 5 is the first level for where you go to +3 proficiency bonus. So
yeah, exactly.
If you have like a good either dex or strength, whatever your class use, you're like at that point you're getting pretty like your to hit bonus is going to be pretty high. So
yeah, it's probably going to be, I would say, +7 or +8 if you do have the 20 in the stat you use to hit things.
Yeah.
So you're going to hit more. You're going to hit more often than this guy. You're going to be in a position where you can, afford to be hit. And obviously at level 5, a lot of classes like the fighter get their extra attack. So suddenly, they're almost keeping pace. Like one fighter can almost keep pace in terms of like damage per round with the Barbed Devil on their own.
Yeah.
And the only difference is that the Barbed Devil probably has a little less than double the fighter's hit points.
Yes, but to be honest, he's a lesser demon.
Yeah.
So
I with all that said, I think it's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. He's a lesser demon, so I picture him more as part
also devil,
of
Mikey.
Thank you very much. Oh my god. I can't do it, Daniel. I can't do this show.
I'm canceling devils.
Creature Club's cancelled, guys.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Creature Club. I can see the headlines now. Creature Club cancelled. Getting mixed up.
Massive demon scandal.
Devils.
Creature Club cancelled completely.
That's the actual headline. That's it.
Hostile takeover by Maximum Fun.
A lesser devil. A lesser devil. Devil. So
his name, Mikey. Just read that.
So it's a lesser devil. I picture it being part of a unit. I wouldn't really picture fighting a Barbed Devil by itself. If you can kind of get me on that one. It doesn't really seem like it would get into a fight by itself. Or maybe. He says he'll take any job or any fight, like any job, if it means he gets like some sort of reward from it. But seeing as it's kind of loyal and it's always doing a job, maybe it's one of the higher level devils would say, I need help fighting these heroes, and then he would jump in. So I would picture cranking up the level of the player characters and adding another Barbed Devil, or a couple of Barbed Devils, or a higher level devil, and adding one or two of these Barbed Devils in there with him. Yeah. I had to be very slow there because I would have said demons again.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that. Like, I think they're either a good introduction to devils because they're very straightforward, but I think they probably make more sense as part of a higher level fight against devils, where the party are dealing with someone probably a greater devil rather than a lesser devil, and it has like lesser devils in its entourage.
Yeah.
And you're sort of fighting them. I'm imagining now kind of a cool like a pursuit arc where you're like hunting a greater devil, and it's like leaving behind its lackeys, and you keep running into them, and then you have to like defeat them and then get the next piece of information to track them further.
Right.
With all that said about the Barbed Devil, sorry. I don't think it's a bad thing that they are a straightforward stat block.
Yeah.
I just think they are a straightforward stat block.
Yeah.
But I also think that means there's a lot of room. Like I always think that if the monster is easy, like if the monster is easy to understand, a great way to complicate the encounter is to change its environment. The notion that the Barbed Devil is going to run around this battlefield, it's about the same size as you, it moves about as fast as you do. If you are close to it, it'll use its claws and its tail. If you're far away, it'll throw fire. Like that's very straightforward. And now so then sort of the question becomes like, okay, well obviously like you say, Mikey, you can have it be like higher level fight, and now you have to do this. Or we can kind of take what we know about the Barbed Devil, which is that they stand guard over things, and you can have it be that like the party are trying to get something that the Barbed Devil is guarding, and maybe like
Yeah.
the you know, the room to get the thing is slightly esoteric, like it's a vault or something like that. So the party are trying to sort of fight this Barbed Devil while also trying to like open a vault or like move through a labyrinth or something like that. Like they're doing some other thing because they want something, and the Barbed Devil is an obstacle as part of that fight.
Yeah, I picture him being he's much better close up in a fight.
Yeah.
So I picture the battlefield. A good battlefield as well would be somewhere very claustrophobic, like maybe like a stone bridge or something, where you can't really move around too much, but he's running at you. Or just like two of them on each side, and you can't really like throw spells at it too much. You have to fight it up close and personally, or you have to try and slip past it somehow.
Yeah,
that'll be a cool one as well. Kind of like a claustrophobic fight.
Yeah, I like that. I also like the idea of like you say, Mikey, a bridge. But even just to simplify it, you could just say like it's a bridge, and the Barbed Devil is at one end, and the bridge is about 150 feet long. So once you step onto it, he throws fire at you, and he keeps doing that until you either leave or get close enough for him to attack you.
Yeah.
And as part of that notion of complicating the arena, there's one thing that the Barbed Devil has that it can't take advantage of, but is very powerful, which is its Devil's Sight. So if you give it something that lets it create magical darkness, I'm imagining like a flask of liquid darkness, and like he uncorks it and pours it out, and it sort of just casts the darkness spell, but it sort of spreads out from this vial. And then obviously the magical darkness means you can't see him, but he can see you perfectly. Yeah. Which is a pretty great way for him to stay safe while either throwing fireballs or just like, you know, provoking the party, or whatever it is he wants to do.
Yeah. Maybe he can leave a couple of traps as well.
Yeah.
A couple of crude traps to stop you from getting closer, or to stop you from getting out of his range so he can keep throwing fireballs at you. Because I guess because he's like a very perceptive and he's never really surprised, you can use that to advantage where he kind of knows that you're coming and he sets up traps for you, you know?
Yeah. And actually that idea is kind of cool, the idea that the traps are very rudimentary, but the traps combined with a magical darkness mean you have to be very careful or you'll run into them.
Yes. What if, as well, maybe they can just give him like a weapon, a magical weapon, because all the devils seem to have like a kind of like, I guess, a signature weapon that they can have or they do have. And I think with the Barbed Devil, it's their thing is that their body is the weapon. But maybe if you give them like a jagged spear, that'll be kind of cool too.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Or like throwing, or maybe actually that'd be pretty cool. Another range weapon it has is like it can kind of take out bits of its spikes and throw them at you.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Just on that notion of like giving it a weapon, one of the things you could do is if we're playing with that idea, this is something that came up. I was playing friend of the podcast, Stephen Brady, was running White Plume Mountain for us, and in White Plume Mountain you retrieve these 3 artifact weapons, and one of the things I mentioned during the fight, which is sort of something I thought might have happened and I wasn't sure, was that like that because they're each an artifact weapon, that like when you get to the kind of the end, that wing of the dungeon, that the boss would be wielding the weapon and you'd have to like defeat them to get it.
Yeah.
And I just think that idea is kind of cool, just because, you know, it lets you earn the weapon in a very literal way. So just that idea of like, if we say the Barbed Devil is guarding something and that something is a weapon, then maybe the Barbed Devil guards it by wielding it, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's very cool. Maybe like while it's guarding it, it just kind of says, "Oh, whatever, I'm going to use it now," and just picks it up, and like a small little second phase of the fight begins where he has a weapon.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, that'd be cool. That'd be cool. Like if it was a fight where the party are like getting through the vault and the Barbed Devil is kind of harrying them. Yeah. And then it's like initially it sort of keeps its distance and throws fire, and then once they get inside the vault, the Barbed Devil like picks up the weapon they're there to retrieve, and it's like, well, you forced me to do this, and then it like fights them with it or whatever.
Yes. Any more ideas before we Monster Hunter him?
I'm quite happy with where we're at. The only other thing I can particularly think of is that because he's a lesser devil, it would be interesting to see. I'm really becoming attracted to the notion of like setting a game in like a city and incorporating all these supernatural elements into it. So like just the idea of like how much damage a Barbed Devil could do if it were in a city, like if it were running through, like if it was living in a sewer system, for example. Yeah. And just people didn't know what was going on, or like, you know, what this thing was, and like because it's extremely perceptive, it was able to like find good ways in and out of danger, so that it was kind of constantly, people were on edge and the whole town didn't know what was going on and stuff like that.
Yeah, and it's very hard to find them because it's not really ever surprised, and it can always kind of see when people are trying to sneak up on them.
And it's got that dark vision, so like in the tunnels of the sewers, it's like you can see you coming before you can see it.
Yeah, and now I'm just thinking of like a episodic D&D campaign where there's like a new like monster every week and you have to deal with them, but it's more like a detective show or something.
Oh fuck, man! That'd be so cool.
That's
so like,
that's a very,
just supernatural, basically, like.
Basically, yeah, but like but in a city, and you have to kind of deal with it. You guys are like town guards or something. And
yeah, that'd be great.
You have like a police chief who's like, "All right, Johnson,
the mayor's up my ass.
I can't do this." So, monster in this monster, the obvious one would be making armor that's barbed.
Yeah,
out of it.
Absolutely.
That's kind of, and inspiration for that would be the armor of thorns. I'm just typing in right now.
Yeah, I think you're right.
There we go.
Thorns, yeah.
That's it. Hooray! Armor Thorns from Dark Souls, from the Dark Souls series. It's just armor that's kind of jagged, and if you touch someone with it, it hurts them, and you can kind of roll into people, and you troll people online by doing that, I guess. But you can make that armor into D&D, and that would be very cool. Where you just if someone tries to grapple you, you have that barbed hide thing. And that's great. Another thing, maybe the full set of armor, I guess, that you get if you put on the helmet, you have like a visor that gives you the devil's sight, where you can see through magical darkness.
Yeah.
Which that'll probably become like a reoccurring monster thing for most of these devils.
Yeah, I agree. Take their eyes to get devil's sight.
Yes. Maybe you can kind of do like your unarmed attack with your gauntlets becomes like piercing, and you can kind of do like, if you don't already have a D4 armor like unarmed attack, you can get it from these gauntlets or something. You get like a 1d4 piercing. If you have unarmed attack already, it goes up by 1, but I guess that'd be kind of weird with monks, so it'd be hard to balance. But
it's not a big deal. Monks aren't very good anyway.
That's true. Yeah.
That's not me being cruel. That's just the maths of the game says they have a hard old time of it.
Yeah.
You could also, so just to sort of take what they have there, you could have either the gauntlets or some other part of the monster. I'm not sure exactly where. It's kind of maybe like it's a gizzard or something like that, like parts of its organs. But you could create something that lets you use its hurl flame ability, or to simplify it, you could say that it lets you use the, I think, produce flame cantrip, which is functionally what this is, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
I'm going to just look that up now.
Because that's just one that druids get, I think.
Yeah.
The conjure flame or produce flame.
Yeah, produce flame. You conjure a flame in your hand, and you can use it as a light source, or you can toss it at somebody.
Yeah.
And it's you could say that it's literally like the gauntlets give you the D6 piercing damage and the opportunity to use them to cast the produce flame cantrip.
Yeah.
Which is, let's see, verbal and somatic components. Okay, so yeah, maybe you still use those, or maybe you don't need verbal components anymore.
That'd be kind of cool with the gauntlets. Maybe you can kind of create a new system of monster hunting armor in your game, and maybe there's almost like skill trees out of it, where go one way and you have like a super melee gauntlet attack.
Oh, I see, yeah.
Or go one way and you get the conjure flames, and you can kind of pick which direction you want to go.
Yeah, that'd
be
cool.
That's kind of cool.
I like that a lot, yeah, that you make a choice. It's like, okay, you've recovered a Barbed Devil. You can make like, one set of armor, or one gauntlets, or one... and one helmet or whatever like that, you know what I mean? And you just have to pick.
Yeah.
Do you want the telepathy or the dark vision or the devil's sight or the unarmed attack or the produce flame cantrip?
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, that'd be cool. If it was a case of like you pick, say, like 5 abilities the Barbed Devil has, and then you have the player like roll, say, a survival check.
Yeah. And
then based on how well they do, you say, okay, pick, say, like 3 of the 5, and if they get well enough, maybe they get all 5, but chances are they'll get like 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah,
because they have to give something up, basically.
Yeah, because usually when we talk about Monster Hunter, this monster in our little segment, we kind of just say you get all the abilities of the monster, but it makes sense that you have you have a choice. You can get all the abilities. You have a choice of the abilities, but you have to pick which one you want.
Yeah. I like that, and I especially think it'd be probably in some ways easier than if you said like, here's the like 5 abilities you can get by harvesting the Barbed Devil, and here's the cost associated with each of those. so that like you can roll relatively well, and then you can go, well, actually, I won't take the telepathy because it's very expensive, and we can't, our party can't afford it. But I will take the hurl flame to give the fighter a good ranged option, for example.
Yes, that's cool.
Yeah,
I like that.
I like that a lot, actually. That is cool.
You were about to say something, Daniel, before I went on tangent, I guess.
I think I was going to say I'd like to give the flame to something other than a hand, but I can't really think of where else it could go, other than like just like a devil's heart amulet or something like that.
Yeah.
As well as that, there's its tail, which could be interesting as a belt.
Yeah.
Which like would basically let you, I'm thinking probably like grapple people, or it would just give you the same barbed hide feature where if you get grabbed, you deal damage to them.
Yeah, or make it into like a club or something, or a spear. Kind of stuff it with like, and just knock it at people.
That's so funny. Like just the idea of you just like you flatten it out and you just wait for it to harden due to rigor mortis. And hit people with it. Come here to me.
But yeah, come here to me.
I suppose, yeah, in fairness, the tail does have the same damage dice as a maul, so that's not entirely inappropriate.
So give it a maul, and I don't know, give it maybe like a extra little ability that a bit of extra damage, I guess, or like make it just a +1 maul or something.
It'd be pretty cool actually if you had a character who had a tail and they could use the Barbed Devil's tail to let their tail do more damage. Like they could take barbs from it, and then their tail became, say, like a D6 unarmed strike, or something like that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Because like tieflings and dragonborn both have tails, if I recall correctly.
Dragonborn. I think it really depends on.
Yeah, dragonborn is up to the people, like, because I think they're often depicted without tails, but sometimes people want tails, and
I depict them with tails all the time.
I like them with tails. I mean, dragons have tails. So.
I depict them with wings as well, but that's kind of become a feat now that dragonborn can get.
Yeah, as they can actually elect to get wings, which is cool.
I think that's actually a good size recording right there, Daniel.
I think you're right.
I think that's an episode of Creature Club.
I think you're an episode of Creature Club.
Oh, thank you. I'm Creature Club. All right, folks. Thanks for listening to the show. Let's do all the housekeeping stuff.
Let's do it. Okay, so if you've enjoyed this episode or you enjoy this podcast, you can subscribe using whatever tool it is you use to listen to podcasts. If you have really enjoyed it, or if you just feel like being generous, you could leave a review on iTunes, or I think Spotify takes reviews. I don't know. I don't have Spotify.
I don't think it does, but if it does, do it.
Yeah, if it does, do it.
Please.
Otherwise, leave it on Stitcher or wherever you're getting this podcast. Just a quick review saying what you think, and that you like it and that you like us. That'd be great. If you give us reviews, it improves our discoverability, which means more people can find the podcast, which is always lots of fun.
Yep.
If you want to submit homebrews, we are always taking homebrews of any shape and size. You can email us at creatureclubpodcast@gmail.com, or you can go on our website, which is creatureclubpodcast.com. There's a contact us form there. You can submit stuff, or you can just comment below the episode to complain about how Mikey said demons when he meant devils. Or to let us know when we last said Faustian bargain, if you can remember, because we cannot.
Yeah.
We're also on we're also on Twitter at Creature Club Pod, which is a pretty good place to catch us, because all of us are on Twitter intermittently. So if you say something there, we'll almost all see it.
Let us know how you feel about us, if you so wish, and give us a follow. It'd be good to talk to all you guys, have a couple of friends, all that stuff. Yeah. What are we missing? I don't think we're missing anything else.
I don't think so. If there's anything else you'd like us to talk about when we are talking about devils, because we'll be doing that for the foreseeable future.
Yes.
Make sure to let us know now that we've started them, because you've got a couple of weeks before we get into the guts of them. So.
And if you want us to talk about anything specifically because we're gonna do a couple shows in between devils, because we don't want to just keep talking about devils for the next while. We want to kind of be a bit different. So you want us to do anything specifically, like if you want more Villain Squad, I know people are into that, and we're into that.
Yep.
If you want more Treasure Trove, if you want more anything, just let us know, and we shall do it. Just let us know what kind of shows you guys like, and then we will listen to you, and we might do it. I think that's really it. That's awesome. We shall leave it there, guys. Thank you very much for listening. I have been Mikey.
I've been Ben.
Stay cool. Goodbye. Bye. Bye. Bye.
You like it up in the mountain. It's peaceful. You can leave that in for Stephen.
Yeah. Let's skim through right here. We got number 1. We have Avernus, and the archdevil is Zariel. We got number 2, Dis. Like, here is Dislayer. Thank you very much. And that's Disbaiter. We got 3, Minoros, and the archdemon is Mammon. I'm just saying sounds right now. We got 4, Phlegethos, which is what I get when I have, I got a phlegmy throat. I'm trying to do a show here. I need to say these nonsense words and names and entertain the masses. We got Bill.
I mean, you were the one who decided to read out the layers, man. I was going to say, yep, they're there.
Yeah, Belial for now. Number 5, Stygia, Levis. Number 6, Malbolg. And Jesus Christ, what is all this? But pretty much number 9, Asmodeus, is the big head honcho. Hangs out in the 9th.